All right, I'm gonna try and do this guerrilla style. One take, let's do it. What's up everyone, it's Sprometheus, and today I spent $35 on a cup of coffee. Now, this isn't some kind of weird clickbaity title. I'll show you my receipt here in a minute, but I want to talk about this coffee in specifics before I talk about the price. So, this coffee is roasted here in San Diego by a company called Bird Rock Coffee Roasters, and they're known for buying some really nice coffees, and I've seen quite a few nice coffees come through there. I've tried a lot of nice coffees from them. Their roaster does a great job, but this coffee in particular was a little more expensive because of where it's from. It's grown here in San Diego County, where I live, in Oceanside, which is the city. It's about 30 miles north of San Diego, the city, and it's just kind of unusual to have a Geisha coffee grown here in San Diego, served in San Diego, and served in such small quantities. So I had to try it. There was no choice. I had to go pay whatever the cost was to get just a cup. I'm not going to buy whole bean because that was expensive. But I did want to try the coffee because it is kind of an experience overall. You know, I live here in San Diego, the coffee's growing here in San Diego, and California grown coffee is becoming a thing. You know, as of late, there's a few farms around in San Diego and Orange County and maybe LA County that are growing coffee and selling it for a lot of money. So the background on that is avocado trees and coffee trees kind of have similar environments that they like to grow in. So they like to take this coffee from wherever they got the beans from and they plant them here in San Diego. And this is a Geisha coffee grown in San Diego, and it's by a farm that's not really well known, but it's owned by Jason Mraz, who, if you're not familiar, he was kind of a pop guy for a minute. He played acoustic guitar or something, if I remember correctly. I don't really remember him too clearly, but he owns this farm up in Oceanside, Mraz Family Farms. They grow rare, unique things, and they grew this Geisha coffee. Bird Rock bought it, roasted it, and now they're serving and selling it. So they're only serving it today. When I say today, I don't know when you're watching this, but October 5th. And these coffee trees are about 4 or 5 years old, which is about the right amount of time for maturity for coffee trees to start producing, high quality coffee. And, it's a good cup of coffee. I have no complaints personally about the cup of coffee. It's as advertised. It's a Geisha coffee. It is very clean and crisp. There's great acidity. There's balance. There's sweetness. There's notes of honeysuckle and jasmine. It's a great coffee. I've had a handful of Geishas, and I'd say this lands probably in the top 3 that I've ever had, which is a pretty high honor. And honestly, if you were to hand me this coffee and say it's from Colombia or Panama, I probably wouldn't bat an eye at that, because it tastes like a coffee grown at a much higher elevation. San Diego is basically at sea level. So this is kind of an amazing accomplishment in my mind, to where you can grow coffee this good, this low. But, and it's a big but, and I like big butts and I cannot lie, Bird Rock can't deny that the price is high. The price is really high. It's $35 for this cup of coffee. This is 10 ounces of coffee in this here. 10 ounces of coffee for $35. And of course, I understand some of the things that go behind this. I know that picking and processing and growing is all an expensive process. And then you take it out of Ethiopia or Colombia or Brazil, and you add in, the cost of water here in California, the cost of labor in California. All these things mean it's going to cost money, and a lot of money. And so $35, okay, I'll try it. I'll bite. That's coming out to about $3.50 per ounce for this cup of coffee. And that's quite a bit. They are selling this coffee online in little limited edition tubes. I guess is what you would call them. But it is $199 for 4 ounces of whole bean coffee from this California farm, and that comes out to about $49.75 per ounce, and that's significant. That's quite a bit of money. And if you consider this pour over itself, I was able to kind of watch the baristas make it. I didn't get super close or try and film them because, as you can see, there was a couple kind of in their face. They had like a digital camera and their phone camera like in this girl's face while she's trying to make a pour over, and I'm kind of sitting there getting slightly annoyed because I'm like, hey, that's my pour over they're making, and please don't distract her because I paid $35 for it. But that's a story for another day. Anyway, I could hear them talk about the recipe for this pour over, and of course, roughly about 10 ounces of water, but they're using 22 grams of coffee for this $35 cup of coffee. So what that comes out to, if you break it down, for 22 grams of coffee to equal $35, you're looking at about $1.60 roughly per gram. That's a lot. Anyway, I don't want to focus too much on the price. It's a $35 cup of coffee. I enjoyed the coffee. Would I do it again? No. Would I buy the coffee retail? No. If you have the opportunity to go try this coffee, I think they're only serving it today, but if it comes out later on or the opportunity arises somewhere else, wherever you are, it's worth a try. Bring a couple friends, split the cost. Like, I wish I would have gone in with, 3 other friends and split it 4 ways, because I kind of have a bit of me is a little bit of upset that I had paid $35 for a cup of coffee. I feel like that's, first world problems, I guess. But at the same time, it seems like I could have gone out to dinner on that. I could have gotten Postmates delivered to my house with a delicious spicy curry and ate that, had leftovers for tomorrow, and had lunch from it. I'm not going to dwell on it. I just wanted to say $35 for a cup of coffee is significant, and it's a good cup of coffee, but in the end, if you're going to buy a cup of coffee that's expensive, it's kind of up to you to decide whether that's worth the experience. And for me, the price, as high as it is, the experience was worth it for me to say I tried coffee, a Geisha coffee, grown in San Diego. And when it comes to geishas and high-priced coffees in general, I feel like they kind of put you in a corner. And whether this is right or wrong is kind of up to you to decide. But I feel like in our minds as consumers, we feel like the more we pay, the better it should be. And when I buy a $35 cup of coffee, or even, previously when I've bought $15 cups of coffee for other geishas, I feel like, okay, this is going to be an experience that I won't forget. This is going to be, an upper echelon coffee experience where I'm going to remember this coffee for the rest of my life, in this, heavenly way. And I'll remember this coffee. Of course, I'll remember this coffee. Not only because it's the most expensive cup of coffee I've ever bought, but also because it's grown here where I'm living, which is an experience that not a lot of Americans get to have, I feel like. So that's worth something. I think that's worth $35 in my mind, but maybe I'm just trying to rationalize the cost a little bit because I'm still reeling from it. I just got this coffee this morning, and it's still warm. So I just brought it back from the shop not long ago. So yeah, $35 cup of coffee. Here it is. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you ever spent a lot of money on a cup of coffee? Would you do it again? I guess idea of what a lot of money is pretty, subjective based on who you are or where you live and what your income is. And I don't want to get into the economics of all that stuff, but let me know, would you spend that much money on a coffee grown down the street from where you live just for the experience to try it? Tell me what your thoughts are on geishas. Are geishas worth the money? My experience, they've kind of let me down a little bit because the cost is so high, but the experience is just kind of whatever. So anyway, leave some comments down below. I want to read them. I want to talk to you guys about this. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram @Sprometheus. the blog at Sprometheus.com, and as always, stay caffeinated, pony boy. That was like $1.50, a $2 or so sip of coffee right there. So think about that. Think about that.